Hey, y'all. I'm Bud Elliott, and this is Cover 3 College Football Summer School. We've done our research on the teams, and now we're bringing on the top team experts from the 24/7 Sports Network to help us fill in the blanks. Please follow us on Twitter at Cover3 Podcast. That's Cover3 Podcast. And leave us a 5-star review on Apple and Spotify. All right. Class is in session. Hey, guys. Welcome back into Cover3 Podcast here. I'm Bud Elliott, and this is College Football Summer School. And now it's time to talk a little bit of Iowa State football. And to do that, I'm going to bring on Nick Osen of CycloneAlert on the 24/7 Sports Network. Nick, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited. Appreciate it.
I'm excited too. I've been doing a lot of these, and I feel like they're going well. I'm learning a lot. Hopefully the audience back home is as well. If this is the first one y'all listen to, I basically just try to do as much research as I can. I read CycloneAlert, and then I kind of ask you help me fill in the blanks on stuff that I'm maybe not so sure about. Last year, 7-6, I think they're probably like a game unlucky if you look at what their power ratings were. And not the season, I think, just based on my social media responses, that Iowa State fans were hoping for. But at the same time, still one of the best teams in the history of Iowa State, if we keep it in perspective. Did you kind of get the same vibe from the fans there?
Yeah, with the talent, that they're losing this year and that they kind of had on the team last season, I would say wins and losses, it was certainly disappointing. I think they probably should have had at least 8 or 9 to really be considered a success. Though at the end of the season and even in the bowl game, a lot of their younger guys look good. So I think the future's bright. But yeah, I think that's pretty safe to say.
Well, we'll start on the offensive side here. So in 2020, and granted, the numbers from 2020 are all kind of wonky because it was a COVID year and et cetera. They were in the 20s for the power rating of offense, and then in the 40s for most of the publicly available ratings this last year. So they had a little bit of a slip. Hall is gone, stud running back. 2 starters in the offensive line are gone. What do you see from this run game in 2022?
Yeah, so even though they're losing, some of that, especially Breece Hall, obviously, I actually wrote it down. I think the running back room is going to be a real strength. I think that the staff is really focused on, not only building that and building off the recent success, both at this level and the NFL, but from, kind of who I've talked to and kind of addressing team needs, they know that the offensive line needs to be a little better, especially in the run game. And I've seen that kind of focus. We're going to get another shot tonight, actually, to see that at a practice. But I've got really high expectations for, not only the run game, but I'd say the offense as a whole.
Awesome. On the passing side, Brock Purdy's gone. We loved Brocktober. That was always pretty cool to check out. And obviously Charlie Kohler and Allen are gone as well, I believe, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. What do you see from this passing game this year?
So what works in Iowa State's favor is they're returning, their top receiver, often called X, Xavier Hutchinson. And from what I've seen in the new quarterback, Hunter Dekkers, I didn't really know what to expect. And he truly has more talent potentially than Purdy showed. I think he's got more of a, high ceiling. Purdy was awesome, but Dekkers a little more mobile, athletic. He's got a big arm. And from when we've spoken with the players, a lot of the guys are actually really impressed with his leadership and command of the offense. I think it's going to help having a star like X back at receiver. And then, the tight end room's a little younger, but I'm told that there's a lot of talent there, some good recruits there. And I would look out for Jalen Knoll this year as well at wide receiver. He's a guy that looked really good in the Cheez-It Bowl against Clemson. I think the passing game, if that line, again, can, kind of play to its potential, I think they're a little ahead in pass pro than, the run game. I think it's going to be good. I think Dekkers could be a star in the Big 12.
That was one thing I wanted to ask you about. In charting them, they threw a very large percentage of their passes to their tight ends and their running backs. And we can kind of sit here and debate the merits of that. Clearly, if you're Iowa State and you have Kohler and Hall, it's probably a better decision than if you don't have those guys. You mentioned Knoll. You're expecting the receivers then to kind of be the strength of this offense, if I'm hearing you correctly?
I am. Yep. I think that there's going to be a little more focus, not only with them, but also maybe some of the deep ball game with Dekkers' arm. And then though the sheer volume might not be as high for, passes to the tight ends and the running backs, they've got some of the speed at running back to really have some success at, some of those RB screens and wheel routes as well.
Awesome. All right. So let's go ahead and switch over here to the defensive side of the ball. some pretty heavy personnel losses here, and I obviously have a ton of faith in Matt Campbell, and especially the job this defense has done defending in the Big 12 going back several years here. But two of your top three defensive linemen are gone up front, but it looks like behind them they have a lot of guys who have played at least some ball, and they're getting Anderson in, the transfer from Minnesota. What if there's going to be a drop off? What sort of level of drop off are you forecasting here?
Yeah, I'll go on record as saying I don't think there's going to be a huge one. I mentioned all those positives on offense, and obviously, in college football, it's not crazy for the defense to be ahead early in spring ball, but I've got pretty high expectations. A lot of the, defensive staff is back. One of the best pass rushers in the country in Will McDonald. And I think the, kind of secondary and back line of the defense is going to be a real strength. They've got a couple guys I could see, making the NFL there, honestly, especially at safety. Bo Freeler, he's a young guy, and then Anthony Johnson actually moving from corner to safety just because they have enough talent at corner. They're able to do that. Should help Johnson long term. I think the defense is going to be another top one in the Big 12 conference, like they have been, as you mentioned.
So wow, that's a surprising answer. I'm really, this is why we do the show, right? This is why we do summer school series. Cause I would have thought, okay, offense, I think there's some explosive talent here. Defense, I mean, you lose 2 or 3 on your D line, you lose Hummel and Rose at backer, and then 4 out of 5 starters in the secondary are gone. How do you feel they'll replace Hummel and Rose? Is that more of a trouble spot, you think, or where does this go wrong if it does? Not that I think it will, but
yeah, and I wouldn't even necessarily say that as well, but that's probably the spot where there's going to definitely need to be some areas of growth and improvement, at linebacker, because there's some of the big names at the other spots, like I mentioned. They've got a transfer from Delaware, Colby Reeder, and some of the younger guys, actually big recruits, have made some noise here as well. But I would say if I were to pick a spot, that might be where, I need to see some improvement here. I'm maybe not as confident in that area. But yeah, like I said, I mean, the defense has looked good. I would say I've probably been a little more impressed in their pass defense so far, at least at practice. We've only seen a couple spots. But yeah, I think that's definitely a fair kind of assumption to say there for sure.
We know they've already taken a couple guys in the transfer portal. Let's end on this one. What are the spots that you think they will probably be portal hunting as we approach the May 1st deadline for guys to jump into the portal?
Yeah, I mean, since they already got, one at linebacker, I think that can always kind of be a look there, but I would probably say in the trenches. Offensive line, defensive line, if they're going to. They're pretty confident, in their quarterback room and in their back line on defense. So I'd probably say, the trenches, not that it's necessarily behind where it should be right now, but even the players and, some of their top names, like a Trevor Downing said, we were not consistent enough last year. He would say that needs to be a spot to really clean up, kind of shore up there in the run game for sure.
Awesome. Nick Osen, CycloneAlert. Nick, really appreciate you joining Cover 3 Summer School. I feel like I learned a ton and really, really glad to have you.
This was a blast. Thank you so much. Can't wait for next time.
All right, that's the bell. Cover 3 College Football Summer School is over for today, but don't worry. We'll be back soon with even more episodes filling you in on the top teams in college football. Please give us those 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Follow us on YouTube and on Twitter at Cover 3 Podcast, and we'll see you all soon.